What's going on, everyone? You are listening to Bull Central here. Hope you're all doing well. So guys, there was an article that came out from Casey Johnson in regards to Coby White, which was reflecting on his season opener. And the question was really around whether or not Coby White is in fact a point guard. And this has really been a debate for a while now, ever since Coby was drafted. So I wanted to talk about it further because I do think this could have long-term impacts on how the Bulls position themselves for the future. Now, I've said this before, but I do feel Coby White is more of a two guard. He is a score-first point guard, which there isn't anything wrong with that. There are a lot of score-first point guards in the league. The Bulls have even had one in Derrick Rose, and the team was very successful with him being a scoring first point guard. The difference with Coby, though, is that he's not the best playmaker. He does well, with the ball in his hands, and he plays well off the ball. Not saying he's a catch-and-shoot type player, but he's not the best at running the floor and facilitating the offense. Now, you can disagree with me on that point if you want, and that's fine. And I'm not saying he can't learn to become a great facilitator and a floor general while also being a prolific scorer. He is only 20 in his second season in the NBA, and you can tell the guy has a desire to learn and improve himself no matter what role he's given. But at this point in time, that's, where he's at in my view. A shooting guard who has been given the assignment of playing point guard. Now, I know some will argue, well, Coby did well playing point guard last season, especially towards the end of the year, but it is different when your role is coming off the bench to provide a scoring spark for the team in the second unit than given the task of being the guy on the floor who organizes the team on offense as the starter. Last night after the game, Billy Donovan said in a press conference, quote, "Coby has to play well for us to play well." And I usually don't agree with coaches putting that kind of pressure all on one player, because at the end of the day, it is a team sport and the guys have to play as a team in order to succeed. Everyone should be accountable for each other, but I really think Donovan is right about this one. This is a young team that is still looking for an identity, and although Lavine is the best player, we do need a true leader of the team that ensures everyone is doing what they need to do on the court and structuring the offense. That's not Lavine's role. He's not the point guard. He's the shooting guard. Donovan later said, forget the shot making, take that out of the equation. He has to play in terms of leading and organizing and getting our guys in the right spot. And I've said this before, and I've mentioned it in my past videos, that I won't get too ahead of myself after one game, because I do think Coby can bounce back and be that floor general that we want to see. But in a way, I also have to think, is this the right role for Coby White in playing to his strengths? Of course, he can learn to transition his style of play, but Coby actually does very well playing off the ball and scoring at will when he gets hot. Does it make sense to try to put him in a role, that he's not really suited for, that doesn't really suit his strengths, or focusing or really forcing him into a player that he's not? Now, we can't just write him off now, say Coby isn't a true point guard and he never will be. I do think the organization should give him more time to continue learning in this new role that they've envisioned for him. But if a couple months roll by and we still see the same struggles of Coby not being that leader at the point and facilitating and managing this offense, then this is a bigger issue that has to be addressed from the front office. I mean, they decided to pass on drafting a point guard, and there were plenty that were available at the number 4 pick. And don't get me wrong, I'm very happy they took Patrick Williams because he's looking to be a very solid player at this point in time. But they chose to pass on selecting a point guard because they decided that Coby was going to be the point guard for the future for this team. They let Chris Dunn walk, which, as most of you know, I wasn't a fan of, and they moved Satoransky to the bench. Now, I don't think Satoransky is a better player than Coby White by any means. Coby is clearly better with more talent, more potential, but one thing Satoransky does well is he knows how to run an offense and be the primary ball handler at point guard. So if it's determined that Coby, maybe isn't the best fit for being the starting point guard and running the offense after a couple months go by, then the front office may have to be put in a tough position where they need to decide between Coby and Lavine. and look for the point guard of the future. Now, obviously, Zach is the better player between the two, at least at this point in time. But he is 25 and Coby is 20. So if you're the front office and you're looking for trade options, you essentially have to see what you can get more from and which player has a higher ceiling or potential that you would want to hang on to long term. Now, if it were up to me, I would rather keep Zach if I had to choose between the two, because he's already an established player and has shown flashes of being that franchise player. Not saying he is right now. If you've watched my past videos, you know that I still question whether Zach can be a #1 option on a contending team, which I know a lot of you disagree with. But if based on what we know now, I would keep Zach over Coby. But again, a lot of it depends on, you know, what you can get in return for each player. Zach's trade value is likely higher, especially for a contending team that is looking for elite athleticism and scoring and willing to trade younger assets or picks. Then again, Coby is only 20 and some teams could see him as a future superstar, you know, and with that potential, they might be willing to trade a fair amount for. But, you know, then in that event, do you keep Coby for the long term because of his age and potential over a guy like Zach who has likely hit his potential? It's really hard to say. You know, my hope is that it won't come, you know, down to that, to having to choose between the two. My hope is that Coby, who is a great student of the game, will continue to work on his game and developing into this role as the Bulls' floor generator and facilitator. That way we don't have to go out looking for a point guard and not having this ever-long debate on whether Coby is a point guard or a shooting guard. I don't want to trade either guys. Anyway, let me know what you guys think though. Is Coby more of a point guard or a two guard? Do you think that he has the ability of being the true point guard that the front office and coaching staff want to see from him? And if the Bulls essentially had to choose between Coby and Zach, who would you take based on what you could get for them in return? And where they're at in their careers. Let me know in the comments, and as always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I post daily Bulls content. Hope you all enjoy your Christmas Eve, and I will catch you guys in the next one.